She didn't just raise Fela Kuti, she raised hell. Fumilayo Ransome Kuti. She was the woman that told kings to step down and governments to step up. This is the story of Nigeria's first true feminist icon. Born in 1900 in Abeokuta, her name at birth was Frances Abigail Olufumilayo Thomas. But by the time she returned from studying in England in the 1920s, she had dropped the English names. Just Fumilayo, a woman determined to build Nigeria her own way. She was the first female student admitted to Abeokuta Grammar School. Think about that. A boys' school. They had never had a girl before. But Fumilayo walked in, unbothered, and she made history. In her early years, she taught. She opened one of Nigeria's first nursery schools. She taught market women how to read, how to write. But it wasn't just about books. It was about power. Because the government was taxing women who didn't even know how to read the tax forms. That's where it began. In the 1930s, she started the Abeokuta Ladies Club, a social group for educated women. But by 1946, she turned it into something else entirely, the Abeokuta Women's Union. And this one was not for tea and biscuits. This was war. The British colonial government, they had imposed a flat rate tax, mostly on women, especially the market women, the poorest ones. And Fumilayo said no. In fact, she said, if there is no representation for women, then there should be no taxation of women. So she led a protest, not a small one. 10,000 women. They marched to the palace of the Alake of Abeokuta, the king. They sang, they danced, they blocked the gates. They called him out directly in their protest songs. They even mocked his manhood. They said it is time for a woman to play the role of the husband. Then Fumilayo, she trained the women on how to handle tear gas. She told them, listen, if the police throw it back. And they did. For years, they kept that pressure. And then in 1949, the king, the Alake, he stepped down. A king stepped down because of Fumilayo Ransome Kuti and the thousands of Nigerian women. The tax was suspended, and women were finally given seats in the local council. That victory, it made her a national name. She helped to create the Nigerian Women's Union and later the Federation of Nigerian Women's Society, campaigning for women's rights to vote, to run for office, have proper education and healthcare. And she wasn't alone. Women like Margaret Ekpo, Gambo Sawaba, others, they were rising across Nigeria, but Fumilayo, she was the one standing toe-to-toe with kings and colonizers and winning. She wasn't just known in Nigeria. Fumilayo traveled across Europe, Asia, USSR. She was meeting world leaders, speaking on behalf of Nigerian women. She once met Mao Zedong in China. But this global activism, it had a cost. During the Cold War, the Nigerian government refused to renew her passport, and the US denied her visa. They said she's too leftist. But she didn't stop. She became the first woman appointed to the Western House of Chiefs in Nigeria. She ran for parliament. She challenged colonial systems, Nigerian patriarchy. Anybody in her way, she would challenge them fearlessly. And all this while raising Fela Kuti, Beko, Olikoye, men who would go on to become some of Nigeria's most iconic voices in music, medicine, and activism. In 1970, the same woman who had trained market women to fight with their voices was honored with the Lenin Peace Prize, global recognition for a lifetime of resistance and justice. But in 1977, when soldiers raided Fela's Kalakuta compound, they threw his 76-year-old mother, Fumilayo, from a two-story window. That fall broke her body. She never fully recovered, and April 13, 1978, she died from the injuries. At her funeral, Fela carried her coffin to Dodam Barracks, the military headquarters, and he dropped it there in protest. Till today, Fumilayo Ransome Kuti, she remains one of the most fearless women in Nigerian history. She fought kings, she fought colonizers, she fought silence, she never bowed. And she didn't just raise Fela, she raised the revolution. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like stories like this, please follow me. I tell them all the time.